Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not unto your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. Guys, it is so easy for us to repeat this Bible verse. It came from Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 and 6. And it is so easy for us to say it when things are going good, when there's no upheaval and everything is on point. But what happens when things are not so good? So in this big video, we'll be looking at that. So let's go. Hi, my name is Paula Simon, a believer who 25 plus years ago made a decision that changed my life, strengthened my faith, which led to a closer walk with God. On this channel, I encourage women to be more proactive in their lives and embrace changes one step at a time. If you are new to the channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber or visitor, welcome also. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on the notification button so YouTube will let you know when a new video is uploaded. Also, please share. It will be greatly appreciated. As I said in the introduction, and as you see the title for this week's video, we're talking about trust when it is hard to trust God. And hear what it is. As believers, we believe in God. We trust him. We sing his praises. We repeat verses of the Bible. We try as much as possible because we have to try. We're not going to get it perfect. It's to live according to his words and his guidance. And we believe in his promises. Everything is so easy for us to do when it is lining up. But a hard time comes. It becomes harder when we're hit with some form of situation. And guys, it don't always have to be this or a death or a breakup of a marriage, or you lose your job, or you file in bankruptcy. It don't have to be all of that. It could be just when we are facing mental hardship. And I think out of all the hardship, the mental one is the hardest. Why? Because you could get persons to rally around you if there's a divorce or there's a sickness, or if so, you lose your job, or even financial hardship, especially based on how you end in the hardship. You could get a rallying support. But when the hardship is something mentally, which sometimes you of your own self, it is hard for you to communicate to someone. And although you might be telling them this hardship you're going through, they might say, oh, you know what? Just take some rest. I understand, just pray about it, because there isn't the material or the physical stuff that is happening to support your concern. So it is hard sometimes for you to communicate, and it's hard for you to get persons to rally around you, unless you reach someone who went through that situation. And that might be hard because, again, it is hard for you to talk about it. And then we start having the problem with trusting God. Guys, if as a believer you had lived for a certain amount of years, you had seen where God had worked in your life. And as I mentioned before in the early part of this channel, I tell you guys, get your foundational tools. And one of your foundational tools is your frame of reference. The frame of reference is the documentation of all the ways that God had worked in your life. So when you see you getting all of these trust issues with God, and you want to know if this thing is going to work through, or is he going to relieve me of this mental stress, you could go right back to your frame of reference and see the ways in which he had came true for you. And sometimes when you see God, not sometimes, when God do come true for you, he show up and out. There's no if and but or maybe about it. If you look at it, sometimes you don't even have to look at it too closely to realize that it had to be God's hand in it. His fingerprint is all over the situation. So when you go back to that, you say, okay, in 2010, my father would do this. Even when they were coming to foreclose on my home, it so happened that there was a problem with the court papers, whatever it is. So when we go back to those frame of reference and we start looking at the ways that God works in our life, whatever is happening now, it become easy. Guys, and if you haven't done it before, if this is the first time you're listening to me, look at my previous videos. And even if you had listened to me before and you never do it, I'll advise you, write your frame of reference. That is what will carry you through during the tough times and the times that you having a problem to trust God. One thing we know for sure, beyond a shadow of a doubt, our Father have our best in heart. And whatever you're facing right now or you're going through, I could assure you it would be for your best. Because as his children, and if we put our life in his hand and we asking him to control our life, there's nothing that coming in and out that he don't have a say in it. It would be uncomfortable at times. They have no time where you're going through a hardship, you're going to say, ha, 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 you're happy about it, you're laughing. You reach a point where you put it in his hand, and even when the little doubts and fear pop up, you put it right back into his hand because you know my Father is there for me. But you would never be in a spot where you're completely happy with it. But when you have the assurance and you believe in his promises. You see, our Father do not deviate. He don't say one thing today and he means something else. We're living in a culture, we're living in a world where very few times we could take person's word. Honestly, be it a regular transaction, somebody repairing your car or they're doing something for your home, or someone even promised to come through with something for you. Don't let us even talk about our politicians and the government. That is a whole different story. We are not seeing persons keeping their word being reflected in our society right now. So because of that, it could taint a lot, because remember, this is what we experience and we could actually see or touch or feel. Our Father is just a spirit, is just a presence. So at times we could get ourselves a bit off because we're dealing in such a not a trustworthy world. We're dealing in situations where persons are not keeping the word. We might forget that our Father is completely different. I don't know in what area you having trust issues right now. And even if you don't have it now, as a believer, as sinners, as not being perfect, sometime down the road, it might pop up. The problem is how long we would allow this not trusting God to fester. Because it's going to come. Whether we're going to allow it to last 5 seconds, 5 days, 5 hours, 5 weeks, 5 months, it all depends on us. Because the minute we reach a situation where we cannot handle something, we could always go back to our Father. And this thing always sounds weird. We asking God to help us to trust him. But this is it. If we need his help in every area of our lives, we also need his help in helping us to trust him, to believe him, to have that faith. And when we go to him and he knows in our hearts that we really and truly mean what we say, he would come true for us. So guys, I'll advise you, trust God. As I said, I don't know what is happening in your life right now, but I know for certain that our Father have a answer for it. It is working out for your highest good. Look at his words and his promises. One of the other foundational tools, you don't have to be an expert on the Bible. If you have a phone, chances are you know how to operate Google. Just go to Google. What did the Bible say, or what did God say about faith or trust? What did God say about trusting him in hard times? And the answer would be there. The Bible verse would be there. And or even you turn to him and say, Father, I don't know where or how. He will always lead us into the right place. Guys, I know that for certain. I know it from personal experience. I experienced God working in my life repeatedly in so many areas. As I always say, I'm sitting here speaking to you because of the grace of God. It's not because I'm so righteous, because I'm so good, because I got so much connection, or I got wealth, or I got a whole lot of family to support me. None of the above. I'm here because of God. And had times where I had no other option. And because of that early stages where I didn't have any option but to trust him, at this point now, I know I don't have any other option. The only option I have is to trust my Father. And I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, with every cell in my body, that he is going to work it out for me, and he would for you. So trust him in the good times and in the bad times. Because without him, we're in a very, very bad state. So guys, enjoy the rest of the week. I know we're coming down to the end of July. Holy moly, half of the year plus 1 month gone. But you know what? Our Father do not need 10 weeks or 10 days or anything to work. He could work like this, in a twinkling of an eye. He could bring about what change or whatever need to be done in our lives. So let's lean on him. Let's Proverbs 3 verses 5 to 6 don't just be something that we say, but something that we honestly believe and something that we walk through every single day of our life. So guys, take care and have a blessed week. And I will be talking with you later.